This video is an attempt to allow the citizenry to understand what's happening to them and what's happening to me. It's one of the reasons that I am running for office, and it has to do with really an abuse of power, huge amounts of corruption, and well, let's get into it.
That's all of it. Okay, we'll move on to an informational item, update and discussion regarding Town of Hickory Creek versus Ronald Furtick.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In part of the spirit of openness and transparency, we're providing you and the members of the public this update about this pending lawsuit.
First of all, how many people have ever heard of a town or city providing updates and or information on their website about pending lawsuits, suits that haven't been adjudicated, suits that are... This is an extraordinarily one-sided perspective, and it's kind of crazy.
We're fully aware and committed. The town itself is committed to protecting the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the town. In order to protect those fundamental community interests, on December 20th, 2024, the town filed suit against Ron Furtick and his associated entities in an effort to halt and prevent ongoing and serious violations of the town's code occurring at his property at
Okay, first of all, I had smelled this coming. I had not been asked to put in a new sewer line. As a matter of fact, back when the planning stages were being done for this town, I was asked not to make any major improvements because the city leaders felt that if I made huge investments in putting in water, sewer, paved roads, these sorts of things, that the park would become permanent, which actually makes some sense. I never wanted the park to be permanent. I wanted the park to be a temporary use and transition into a downtown area. But I had smelled it coming because of actions in council. I do monitor their actions. And it became clear to me that I needed to move forward. So I hired a designer, CCM Engineering, who put together the plans for an 8-inch line. We had submitted the plans for a new sewer system all the way up to the street and make the connection with LCMUA. And I submitted it a full week before that meeting where they decided to sue me, basically saying that I had never had any intention of doing that, even though I just spent 8 months and $10,000 to prepare the plans.
100 Tuberville Road. These violations include, but are not limited to, the unlawful discharge of unsanitary wastewater and sewage, zoning violations, illegal signs, along with illegal and unpermitted utility work. All of those.
Okay. We just did depositions. Their expert says that she has seen the property between 5 and 10 times in the last couple of years, and she has never seen unsanitary waste of any kind flowing on the surface or existing, puddling, nothing. So they are just making this up out of whole air. I had not put up my signs at the time that the lawsuit was filed. So they didn't even exist. The zoning, I am a pre-existing non-conforming use. I have every right to exist, even though the zoning is different than what would be allowed under this use. But that was part of the agreement when I came into the city, that I would be able to continue to exist. I have followed the rules. They're trying to change the rules. I have the right to exist. They're saying I don't comply. Yes, I do.
Created substantial and unacceptable risks to the public health, environmental integrity, and the overall quality of life for.
Their expert says she can find no health impact. It's a lie.
Residents. To date, Mr. Furtick has paid fines totaling $13,520 based on approximately 60 citations issued through the town's municipal court.
I was told to just pay the fines by my attorney who was fighting the lawsuit. He said it wasn't worth fighting those fines. It would cost more to fight them than it would just to pay them. Since then, I've started to be fined every day, and so now I'm fighting.
Mr. Furtick's property is currently served by an undersized and illegally modified septic system dating from 2002 that was designed and sized to serve only 5 mobile homes on the property.
That's completely false. It's designed for it is a much larger system. The fact that on day one that's all it served does not mean that that's what it was sized to accept. I talked to their expert. She said she had not done any calculation to see what the existing system's capacity is, but lies.
And those mobile homes are limited in size to not more than 896 feet. Based on available data and information, there are approximately 13 mobile homes on the property today, along with 75 recreational vehicles and trailers.
A lot of those trailers are empty. The park dates from the 1950s. It had an existing septic system long before the new one was put in right after it was 2022, I think, or 2002. There are 30 individual septic systems out there. Every home has its own system. The 5 mobile homes and the travel trailers that are on the backside, those are the only ones that are on the big aerobic that they're claiming is failing, but is not.
Are occupied by residents. There is no sewer system on site to accommodate all of the additional living units that have been brought on site since the property was annexed into the town more than 20 years ago. Additionally, there is no record of any permits for the other utility services being provided to most of those occupants and all of the recent.
I agree that there's not permits that are able to be found. The park was put in the 1950s. That's 75 years ago. If you start looking around for records in Denton County of this sort of issue 75 years ago, you will not find much.
He added trailers. In spite of Mr. Furtick and his legal counsel's formal opposition to the town's repeated requests to simply inspect the property, the town was finally authorized a limited inspection of the premises, and the results of that inspection were disturbing. They include.
I was disturbed by the fact that to inspect one septic tank They wanted to bring 15 people, including the chief of police, multiple code enforcement agents, the chief of police, or chief of the fire chief, and it was a ridiculous number of people to look at one septic tank. So yeah, we said no. They were on a fishing expedition, obviously.
Evidence of illegal and unpermitted modifications to the already undersized septic system. The inspection also revealed multiple occupied trailers and recreational vehicles for which no utility permits of any kind had been applied for or obtained. This includes permits for water service, sewer service, and or electrical service. The inspection also revealed trash and rubbish, along with illegal and...
We're getting down to the pre-existing non-conforming use. I'm allowed to operate as I have operated. That is how the law works. The fact that they're getting down to trash indicates how poorly their lawsuit is, or poorly written their lawsuit is.
Permitted accessory structures and junk motor vehicles. Apparently recognizing and acknowledging the need for significantly more robust sewer capacity at the property, Mr. Furtick's engineer did prepare plans for a new sewer system on the property that would provide the needed capacity and a direct connection to LCMUA. Those plans that were approved in July of 2025, however, since that time, even through today, there has still been no connection to LCMUA.
Okay. First of all, I had applied for a permit the year before last. He's saying they were approved in 2025 in July. False. The permit was finally issued at the end of the year. November, I believe, was when I finally got the permit. Over a year, or just under a year, between the time I submitted the plans and I finally got the permit. I had the work done in 3 weeks. I submitted a plan for making the connection between the old system and the new system last year. To date, still haven't seen a permit. I've got 2 permits pending on this one connection that I'm told is so important. They have bureaucratically slow-walked this to an incredible extent. Year before last, I filed for the permit. And
Mr. Furtick's obstructionist conduct to date has included fighting the town's ability to inspect the property, refusing the town's request for his deposition and the deposition of his corporate entity, even where the town on its side of things has cooperated fully with the discovery process.
okay, I am currently doing what my attorney advises, which is the fighting of the deposition and not having 15 people come inspect one system, which we allowed them to do. When they got it down to 3 individuals inspecting it, we let them come on and they found no problems. I'll be happy to post that video and the depositions of their inspectors regarding that. But as far as them complying completely with discovery, that's a laugh. I submitted year before last Freedom of Information requests for information on the city that have not been allowed. They fought that all the way to the Attorney General, claiming that I was doing pre-discovery on this case. Attorney General sided with them and said no pre-discovery. So fine, went ahead and waited until our discovery. We included those exact same questions Still haven't gotten any answers. They are completely obstructionist. They're absolutely not complying and being open.
In addition, their obstructionist conduct includes failing to apply for required permits for utility work on the property. From the outset and through today, the town's sole goal has been and remains bringing the property into compliance with all applicable codes. Mr.
I don't believe that at all. I am their political opponent. They are spending huge amounts of money to cost me money, to try and force me out of my business. And if I complied, it would definitely make the park permanent. We could go ahead and go in there and using existing Hickory Creek code, 8 to the acre mobile homes, fill the whole thing with mobile homes, triple the size of the park, make it permanent, make it so they couldn't argue with any of the infrastructure, and then I can go retire. I would prefer to build a downtown, but if they continue to force me to put everything in a permanent manner, that's what I'll do, even though that really limits the future of this town. And I think it would be a shame. I love this town, and I want it to have a future.
Has been given more than ample opportunity to do so, and the town has been left with no choice but to continue the issuance of citations and the prosecution of its lawsuit against him. Madam Mayor, that is our update.
Thank you, sir. All right. We will move on then to our consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda.